are here as ODM fraternity. We gathered here to meet under the chairman of ODM County, Mr. Lokanda. We have with us representation from all the 6 branches. All the chairmen are here, together with the women leaders, the youth leaders, the PWD representations. So we are a full house. We met as a Siaya fraternity ODM today. We've had deliberations, and we have a few resolutions that, if you allow us, we may read out to you. Number 1, we have met today as a committee as part of our routine scheduled meetings to take stock of our party affairs at the county level. During our meeting, the committee has observed with a lot of concern the apparent targeting of Siaya County by our political opponents in the Kenya Kwanza formation. This committee today has endorsed the replacements of sub-county and branch party officials who have since decamped to other political parties. In particular, this meeting today has endorsed the decision by Bondo branch to replace their secretary, and we've also endorsed the decision by Game branch to overhaul its entire membership. Together with that, we've resolved that in the next 10 days, the ODM Game branch is going to be fully constituted and functional as has been demanded by our national office. This meeting today takes great exception with the draconian antics that are being employed by the Kenya Kwanza formation, who are our political opponents, but attempting to bait the people of Siaya County with food tokens and thereby having them register as UDA members. We feel this is unnecessary. These efforts are being suspiciously championed by government functionaries who ordinarily their dockets do not contain disaster management or response, and so we find it extremely suspicious. This committee and its meeting today has reaffirmed its unequivocal support to the position adopted by Azimio la Umoja, One Kenya Alliance, in its demand for the following irreducible minimums. Number 1, addressing the high cost of living. Number 2, an inclusive process in the reconstitution of the IEBC. Number 3, non-interference with political parties. Number 4, electoral audit and opening of servers, as has been clearly demanded by our party leaders. This committee resolves that in case there is no concurrence on those issues above, then the Siaya ODM fraternity will fully support the calls for self-determination and secession, as has already been mooted by our party leader. Number 7, this meeting today observes that the Siaya County government is an ODM government, and therefore all elected leaders and all appointed officials within the county government are expected to operate within the strict confines of party rules and provisions. The committee and the meeting therefore has noted with great concern an emerging trend of a few officials of the county government opting to prosecute unsubstantiated claims in the media instead of exploring the available dispute resolution mechanisms within the party. Such officials are therefore deemed to be working in cahoots with the UDA party and are therefore no longer recognized as members of the ODM party. It is clear that they are agents of instability and confusion sent to distract the governor from delivering his agenda for the people of Siaya. This meeting, therefore, has unanimously resolved that the Siaya County Deputy Governor be compelled to resign from his position as the DG since he no longer subscribes to the ideals and aspirations of the party. The meeting has therefore resolved that he be expelled and is hereby expelled from the ODM party membership, a process that will be initiated right from the branch.
Tongamatego party mana jotelo bangacho mondo pa jonga kweno mbinate eno kwele gwena party
yakoma mar party yoten chama tumsau kama ano kuwinyo ni ngato wacho ya siasa wan gi kidare wan gi joma dwaro igi kata yudo tiko mar party ka bandera obayogi to giluwo kuma bandera nitie. En Azimio magiti okuneno ka bandera obayo Azimio tinde koro gin kocha bas mane kit siasa makoro nitie.
Speaker, taking note that under provisions of Standing Order number 72, I, Gordon Uhuru, a duly elected member of the County Assembly of Siaya representing East Assembly Ward, propose to move a motion for the impeachment of William Oduor, the Deputy Governor of Siaya, for 1, gross violation of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 and other laws, and 2, abuse of office and gross misconduct. The specific grounds for the motions are outlined in the motion.
I would wish to defer that to tomorrow, but now that we're on recess, let me be guided by the standing orders. Standing order number 71 talks on procedure for removal of the governor by impeachment, and it says, before giving notice of motion under section 33 of the County Government Act 2012, the member shall deliver to the clerk copy of the proposed motion in writing, stating the grounds and particulars upon which the proposal is made for the impeachment of the governor, or the grounds for gross violation of a provision of the Constitution or any other law, where there are serious reasons for believing that the governor has committed crime under the national or international law, or the gross misconduct or abuse of office. The notice of motion shall be signed by the member who affirms that the particulars of the allegations contained in the motion are true to his or her knowledge. And it goes further to say that a member must have obtained approval from the clerk. So may I establish whether you got approval from the clerk? And it goes further to say that the motion should have been signed by at least a third of the membership. Fellow members, I confirm that the motion, the notice of the said motion has met the threshold. It has been received by the clerk, signed by over 26 members of the Assembly, and therefore I will guide as follows. That pursuant to standing order number 71, 4 and 5, upon expiry of the 7 days after notice given, the motion shall be placed on the order paper and shall be disposed of within 3 days, provided that if the House is not then sitting, the Speaker shall summon the County Assembly to meet on a course and cause the motion to be considered at the meeting after notice has been given. I therefore direct that the motion having been admitted and having met the threshold, that the Speaker shall appoint a date upon which the motion shall be placed in our order paper and considered, disposed of with as soon as possible. And that date shall not be earlier than 29, because the standing orders direct that that after the expiry of 7 days. In essence, it means that your motion has met the threshold and it has been, notice has been given, but it will be tabled for consideration. The motion will be placed in the order paper and you will discuss on merit. I now move the motion that this House adopts the report of the Committee on General Oversight on the allegations raised by the Deputy Governor, Honorable William Oduor, on corruption and mismanagement in the County Executive of Siaya. The Speaker, sir, the Committee on General Oversight is a committee that is established pursuant to the standing orders of this House, and specifically standing order number 162A of the Siaya County Assembly standing orders. Mr. Speaker, this is a committee that boasts the uniqueness of being manned by all the members of the County Assembly. And Mr. Speaker, in its mandate, the committees allowed to invite to its meetings members of the executive to address matters that relate to more than one county department, to address questions that are needed to be addressed by the committee, and deal with matters which, in the opinion of the Speaker, can be better handled outside the other House committees. Mr. Speaker, the Committee on General Oversight is a culmination of investigations undertaken by the committee, that is the report of this committee, on the allegations of corruption and mismanagement in the county executive, allegations that are stated and proven by his owner, say-so, by the Deputy Governor. Mr. Speaker, these investigations were launched or commenced or put on initiation by the Honorable Francis Otiato, who invited the Deputy Governor to appear before the Committee on General Oversight and provide media platforms, and provide evidence in the allegations that he made on various social events and on social media platforms, the fact that there was corruption and mismanagement at the county executive. And so, Mr. Speaker, this is the recommendation of the House. That one, having determined that all the allegations as presented to the House in writing by the Deputy Governor stand unsubstantiated, have not been satisfactorily substantiated, and having therefore looked at this as perhaps mere conjecture, without proof, without substance. And Mr. Speaker, what is not substantiated, in other words, has no substance. And Mr. Speaker, this House directs that in the future, all state officers within this government, and that includes ourselves, Mr. Speaker, and public officers, must desist from making allegations, public or private, official or non-official, formal or non-formal, that when called upon seriously to engage and substantiate, they cannot substantiate. Mr. Speaker, that in the future, any state officer, and I add again, executive or assembly, or public officer, in these two arms of government, that wants to make public complaints, or even private, on the management of the county government affairs, must process the issues and proceed through the duly established institutions and agencies, so that you speak as an officer to what you can be held to account for, and to which you can account satisfactorily, and to which you can provide substance satisfactorily, and which you can substantiate before man and before God.
Mr. Speaker, it was really very hard time for us to come to this conclusion. And again, when we started this journey to try to understand where there can be problem within our executive, and I said it here in moving the motion, that possibly there is just a misunderstanding at our executive, or broken channels of communication. And this has given a lot of room for rumors and a lot of name calling. Mr. Speaker, allow me to say that going by the allegations that were put forth, it is good for the people of Siaya to know the actual truth. Mr. Speaker, having gone through the documents, because I asked for these documents from the Deputy Governor and it was presented. So far, I would say and support the finding of the General House that on issues like, say, the first issue on bursaries related with corruption, all the three angles of this issue, bursary, Mr. Speaker, there is no specific reference. Like if you suggest, he's making a policy suggestion that the principals or the head teachers of the benefiting institutions need to be incorporated. I think when we were passing or doing amendment of our bursary act, I do recall very well that some of these were part of the considerations, and that the application forms were being used and had to be signed by the head institutions. Mr. Speaker, in his own right, the Deputy Governor has suggested that we need to get these people involved. Failure to which then it is riddled with corruption. I'm just wondering, in Igbo East, we do 300, about 300 to 400 students every financial year benefit, and from different institutions. Some come from level Capello, some come from level Mombasa. Our students are there. Will you tell me that it will be tenable for us here in Siaya to invite head teachers for all the 300 schools?
Mr. Speaker, I rise to support this report as read by the chair. Mr. Speaker, we have had a series of months where Siaya County is in news for all the bad reasons. And sometimes news, whether good or bad, is still news. But when the source of news is somebody as senior as the second in chain, then that is a matter that needs to be looked at very, very keenly. Mr. Speaker, I will address myself to page 20 of the report, where the former DG, the DG is alluding to the fact that certain allocations were removed from Orengo and sent to some other places. Mr. Speaker, there is a reason why we do supplementary budgets. And this is not the first time, neither we did with the last time. We do it when new funds have come into the place that were not yet factored in as at the time that we were making the original budgets. We do supplementaries when needed as a reason that was not factored when the very first one was being done. The budget that we are implementing now, all of us are aware that was done in the last regime, Mr. Speaker, sir. After campaigns, it's natural that we campaign based on a manifesto and some agenda that we want to drive and achieve as leaders. The purpose for supplementary one, therefore, that was discussed and adopted by this House, Mr. Speaker, was to address the emerging issues. What were some of these emerging issues? The emerging issue that we had to address are things that rose from the pledges that we made. And the former DG, was at the heart of the campaigns when we were telling our people that upon assumption of office, Mr. Speaker, then they will not need to suffer thinking about seats. And fertilizer.
In this one, we want the deputy governor also to tell the great people of Siaya that who gave him this mandate, or is he trying to show us that he's sabotaging his boss? This honorable house,
County supplementary appropriations bill, supplementary number 2. From the contents of the bill as presented by the Siaya County Executive Committee through the Minister of Finance. The Speaker, allow me to emphasize, as earlier stated to the membership at the forum, that the bill sought to introduce very few changes to the budget, and that major in the introduction was the establishment of industrial park, a requirement by the national government for every county within the Republic of Kenya. And that adjustments